Hey, welcome back to Naval News. We have some breaking news coming out of the Gulf of Aden and the Red Sea as the Houthi forces continue their attacks on civilian shipping. This morning, a ship was attacked in the narrow strait that connects the Red Sea to the Gulf of Aden. It was successfully hit. The crew radioed that the damage was so bad for them that they had to abandon the vessel. They abandoned ship. And that's the first time that has happened since this began months ago. Now, military authorities implying that NATO forces are on the scene now, assessing the damage and assisting the crew. But we have no photos yet coming out. We expect those soon. Whenever I see the damage, I'll be able to tell you what kind of weapon was involved. But it's possible that this might be the first ballistic missile to have a direct hit on a ship, or maybe even anti-ship missile that's designed to tear ships apart may have actually hit a civilian ship here. The second attack that came just hours after that was in the Gulf of Aden, about 100 nautical miles east of Yemen. But that one was a near miss on that merchant vessel. The first one that was hit was Rubymar. This is a cargo ship that was transiting from United Arab Emirates in the Persian Gulf all the way around to Bulgaria. It was hit and abandoned. Reportedly significant damage is on this ship right now. And that is being assessed as I make this video. We'll have to do a follow-up on that later. The second vessel, Sea Champion here, was in the Gulf of Aden and not hit. It was a near miss, probably a ballistic missile attack. Based on the evidence that the crew provided, there was large splashes around the ship. So Sea Champion was bringing corn from Argentina to Aden. Now, that's a Yemenese port. And so Sea Champion was bringing food to the nation that was shooting at it. And the nation is suffering from food insecurity because of a 10-year or nearly 10-year civil war that's been going on. So it's clear to me that the Houthis have attacked their own food delivery, for one, at least food that's going to their nation. They have no plan or structure or rules of engagement anymore. They're simply hitting any ship, as I've said before, that they think they can hit. And they got very close to this one. They almost destroyed their own corn delivery, is how ridiculous this is. Houthis are just lashing out at this point. And who's assisting them? Again, this suspected Saudis Iranian ship is supporting the Houthis with observation and targeting data, giving estimated range, course speed to these straight driving, consistent speed targets that they're lobbing anti-ship ballistic missiles at like lawn darts, and occasionally getting a hit like we've seen today. But they're also using aerial drones coming out of Yemen. We've seen those as well. And this ship, the Iranian Saudis that continues to operate like this, is still sitting at anchor in the Red Sea, saying it's not a military target, don't touch it. But it's providing accurate enough intelligence that we're getting hits on ships now. So this came after a very busy weekend for the U.S. Navy in the region. The U.S. Navy conducted multiple strikes in Yemen, hitting at least 5 different targets, 3 of which were these mobile anti-ship vehicle trucks. So those were struck and destroyed. We can chalk up 3 more of those to add to the one that they got on either Thursday or Friday of last week. So we're slowly, whittling these down. And this might have been one of the weapons that hit the ship today. We'll know more, like I said, when I have a picture of it. But what really shocked me, I did not expect this, to be honest with you, but the U.S. Navy has also confirmed that it destroyed an unmanned surface vessel and an unmanned underwater vessel on Saturday. These 2 types of attacks showed that the Houthis are trying multiple domains and simultaneous attacks against our fleet, from the air with missiles and ballistic missiles, surface vessels like this one, unmanned, and even an unmanned submarine for the first time, unmanned surface vessel. So these are designed, both of these types of unmanned vessels are designed in Iran. They're shipped to Yemen in pieces, where they're assembled ashore in Yemen and then deployed, as we saw here over the weekend. The way they're being deployed is really ineffective right now, and I'm not going to provide any alternatives on this video for fixing that. Just know that they can continue to do it wrong as long as it takes to do it right, and I'm okay with that. So here's some great stills of the unmanned underwater vessel from Covert Shore's website run by H.I. Sutton. This is from a video Iran produced for propaganda purposes during the development and testing of this weapon. So full credit to Covert Shores for bringing this graphic to us. Here you can see clearly the weapon right there next to the target barge, and then that's the contact right there. So it gives you an idea of how small this weapon is. It's estimated to be about 5 meters long, a standard lightweight torpedo essentially, but has long-range endurance. So we're still learning more and more about this weapon, but it appears to be simply a long-range torpedo with communication capability. It has a communication antenna on it anyway that allows it to go to GPS waypoints and take on new instructions once it's deployed. So the big news out of this is that the U.S. is able to localize and destroy these underwater unmanned vehicles, or the UUVs. And that's great news that we have that capability. So this is part of the arsenal Iran has constructed of these unmanned underwater vehicles, UUVs. They're very long range, they're very slow, and they're very ineffective in their current iteration, or at least the way that they're being used by the Houthis right now. One thing that would work, and what we expected Iran to use them for, was against ships in harbor at anchor. Because if you remember a few years ago, Iran was accused of placing limpet mines on ships in port in the Persian Gulf and destroying them or damaging them. It didn't sink any of them, but it certainly did damage them. And while that was happening, this program was in development. So we expected this to be the next generation of those kinds of attacks. And considering the capability of it being long range and very slow, ships at anchor would be the logical target. But now the Houthis are trying to employ this against warships at speed. And I'm not going to offer any other evaluation than that, other than to congratulate you on making it to the end of today's Naval News video, because now you know who is providing actionable intelligence to the Houthis. Again, we reiterate that the Saviz is doing this. One of 2 ships from Iran is providing them with that. The weapons, you know the weapons now that the Houthis are using, including ballistic missiles, and very likely the first confirmed hit of this anti-ship cruise missile may have been conducted today. And we're going to verify that as soon as we have some photos from the incidents. You also know what ships are being targeted, like the one that was hit in the Red Sea, right at the Narrows as it goes into the Gulf of Aden. And the U.S. Navy continues to defend itself in 3 domains: from the air, from the surface, and now from underwater, with unmanned UUVs attacking the U.S. fleet. It's really getting out of hand over there. So, but if you want to know how the U.S. has been dealing with these weapons up until now, watch this video right here.